crypto crash. Okay, they keep using that phrase, crypto crash. But to the people that are in the space of crypto, I'm going to read this to you and I'm going to turn it over to you. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP jump after crypto crash. What is fueling the rebound? Let me read this. Robin, I think you got a couple video clips on this as well, if you want to pull them up. Okay, so Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies were rallying on Monday, paring back some of their losses following President Trump's renewed tariff threat against China. Bitcoin was up 3.7% to $115,000 within 24 hours, according to CoinDesk. It's still trading about 9% off the record high, which was around 130, 131. I don't know the exact number. It hit earlier this month. Ethereum jumped 9%. Solana jumped 8.2%. XRP up 9.4% within 24 hours. The tokens plummeted on Friday, with Bitcoin racking up double-digit percentage losses and failing below $110,000 at one point. The sell-off came after Trump threatened to hike tariffs on China, which likely sapped investors' appetite for risk assets. What's really going on here? Is it really the reaction to tariffs? Is that what the fear was? What do you think caused the crash?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that are worth unpacking. First of all is Trump understands market hours of the stock market. So what did he do? He waited till the stock market closed on Friday, and then he came out and said, hey, we're going to put the 100% tariff on. I don't think that's a coincidence. As the market corrected in after-hours stock, there's just not that many people who have access to the aftermarket stock. So what do? They look in their portfolio and they say, well, what market is open? What market has liquidity right now? If I want to sell, if I want to change my financial life or my portfolio, I'm going to sell cryptocurrency. And so Bitcoin specifically sold off. It sold off $13,000, which is a pretty big move, right? I mean, an asset went down $13,000 in a single day, but it's only about 10%. And so if you go back and you look at all these bull markets, historically, there have been multiple 30% drawdowns in these bull markets. And so this, I joke, is like a crypto crash for ants to the crypto crowd. Now, to the stock market, if the stock market goes down 10, 20%, they're freaking out. They're talking about the Great Depression. They're, 1929, they're doing all that kind of stuff. In the crypto, again, it doesn't feel good to see your assets go down 10%, but it is still pretty small compared to what everyone has lived through. There's somebody who was chirping at me on Twitter yesterday, and they said, why are you saying that we shouldn't be worried about a market correction? I said, my brother, we've lived through 80% drawdowns in 4 years. Right. I said, your stock market crashes, they don't even register for the crypto people. So I think that plays into a lot of like what's going on with the retail folks.
By the way, it's interesting what you say. The fact that for the regular guys that are trading after hours, they're like, what do I mess with now?
They don't have access to anything.
They don't have access to anything. What they do with crypto, you can track what Bitcoin's doing.
Gold's closed, stocks are closed, bonds are closed, everything is closed.
Oh, wow.
Now, here's the thing, is Trump on Sunday night, I posted this this meme. It's like abracadabra, make the markets go back up, right? And what does he do? He tweets out an hour and a half before a futures open on Sunday night. Like the guy knows what he's doing. And so that, that's fine. Understand that. But I think the bigger thing about crypto and Bitcoin in particular is if you sold your Bitcoin because of geopolitical uncertainty, you had no clue what you were holding. The whole point of Bitcoin is that it is a non-sovereign asset. It is supposed to be the safe haven that you can go and hold regardless of what any government in the world does. And so I think that's part of what people are trying to figure out now is the hardcore Bitcoiners, they know that. They're looking to buy on dips, but you still get tons of new people who come in. And obviously, leverage plays a huge part of this. And so the big story over the weekend was there was $19 billion of leverage that got wiped out. Now, you can look at that as, the prices went down. The way I look at it is we just reset the entire leverage in the system, and therefore that probably clears us so that we can go higher.
Yeah, so it says historic $19 billion sell-off, but two accounts made $160 million. I don't know if you saw this article or not. The two accounts that placed bets against the market minutes before the news broke scored $160 million windfall. Bitcoin dropped 12%. Less popular tokens saw declines as steep as 80%. CoinGlass, a crypto data platform. Ahead of the sell-off, two accounts on Hyperliquid, a decentralized exchange that allows investors to make leverage bets on future crypto prices, place massive bets that Bitcoin would and Ether would fall by day's end Friday. The positions were closed for $160 million in profits. When you see stuff like this, this is the Wall Street Journal story right there. These guys made $160 million. How much do you know about this story? Do you know much about what happened here?
I've been paying attention to it. So a couple things. $19 billion, if you wipe out $19 billion of leverage, that doesn't mean that people holding cryptocurrencies lost $19 billion, right? If you put $10 in, but you get $100 of leverage, right? You didn't put $100, you put $10 in. So there's some math that I think is a little bit misleading. The second thing is, when prices go down, sometimes people make money. When prices go up, people make money. It's all about what are they positioned, how are they positioned, all that kind of stuff. There is a trend that is happening in America, but also globally, which is the intertwining of finance and entertainment. And what you now see is whether it's the prediction markets, whether you see it's the stock market, whether you see crypto, people want something to talk about. I joke all the time, like financial markets have become like soap operas for young people. And so not only is there the gambling or the speculation component to it, but what now in crypto is you have on-chain analytics. You can go and you can see what are the positions people are taking, what wallets are moving, right? All this information is almost like kind of new media to them. And so what people do is, oh my God, there's this big liquidation. They immediately begin scouring all this data, trying to find some storyline. Who caused it? Who knew what, right? Who made money here? And so when they find this, they kind of latch on to it. Now, does this person have information about the tariffs? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know who the person is, right? And so I tend to think that good investors, they're not paying attention to this stuff. They're just saying to themselves, listen, I want to continue to acquire this asset, hold it for a long time. This is more entertainment factor.
Do we know who these two people are? You can't know who it is. Is it just pure speculation who they think it is?
So there are strong maybe thesis as to who they are, because on the wallets at times people can start to identify whose wallet is who.
Got it.
And so in one particular case, there's a guy who's associated with a wallet that they believe is the person who has it. But again, you don't have full confirmation. It's not like they're coming out and tweeting and saying, hey, that was me that made $160 million.
Is this a well-known name or just somebody that's known in the crypto space?
It's not even really
not even known in that space. Okay, got it. So where are you at now with it? Are you, because I think the last time we spoke, you were a full-on Bitcoin, you were all Bitcoin. Have you opened up a little bit? Is your, if I was to look at your wallet, would I see some additional things there outside of Bitcoin?
So I've always thought about this barbell, right? Which is basically Bitcoin is a store of value asset, call it digital gold. They're not going to stop printing money. Bitcoin's not going to stop going up, and it is going to be a great way to protect your economic value that you've earned. I don't think that thesis has changed. I actually think it's stronger today. It kind of went from a contrarian trade to a consensus trade, and now the world has kind of woken up to the fact that this thing's going to work. The other part that, if you go back to 2016, 2017, that I've always thought was going to happen, whether, again, the hardcore Bitcoiners, whether they like it or not, is this whole tokenization thing. And ultimately, my understanding of the intersection of, call it crypto and Bitcoin with Wall Street, is once Wall Street figured out that they could make money, they'd go all in. And that's what you've pretty much seen. Bitcoin ETFs, BlackRock now, the Bitcoin ETF is their single most profitable product in their entire product suite. So is BlackRock a Bitcoin company? It's the most profitable product they have, right? So now all of a sudden, every other firm on Wall Street says, wait a second, if they're making a bunch of money on this, maybe we should start participating. And so you're going to see a bunch of people start going in there. Then you start to see the Bitcoin companies, right? The ETF is a Wall Street wrapper for Bitcoin. Now you start to see these public companies putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. That's a Wall Street wrapper around Bitcoin. What you're starting to see them talk about is they want to basically rip out cost and inefficiencies from the way that they trade stocks, the way that they trade various assets through this whole idea of tokenization. Now, there's still a lot to figure out. The technology seems to work, but I don't think this is going to be a retail-driven thing. I think this is going to very much be an institutional-driven thing where they say to themselves, all the plumbing in Wall Street is, T2 settlement times. If I go to buy a stock, I don't actually get it till tomorrow. It's just kind of very antiquated type technology. These guys want to upgrade that stuff. And so it's kind of sounds sexy, but the actual work that they're doing is very, very kind of nerdy. And so I think that will become a huge part of this story. But I don't think we're going to be talking about quote unquote crypto. I think that's going to be much more of a kind of an institutional story.
So going back to my question, do you own other things?
I own Bitcoin is probably 90+% of the portfolio. And then I very publicly in December of 2023, I had some, so I started out mining Ethereum way back in the day. And I sold Ethereum and bought Solana, which ended up being a great trade. And I specifically said, look, this is a trade. I don't,
nothing more, nothing less. Yeah.
I'm not going to be holding Solana, 5 years from now, right? But it's just from this perspective. And so I think that Bitcoin is the king of the crypto market. It's going to remain the king of the crypto market. And I think it's probably the only truly institutional asset that you're going to see central banks and others start to buy over time.
What do you think about XRP, the conversations with XRP, with Ripple, whether it's the technology or the coin?
I think that the market is very, very good at figuring out where value ends up accruing. And what you see in, let's call it outside of Bitcoin, in the top 10 coins, what you will start to see is Bitcoin's dominance has not only remained constant, it has actually gone up over time. And so I think that the market is assigning Bitcoin as kind of in a class of its own. Now, if you then go into, let's say, coins 2 through 10, what you start to find is those are much more akin to me to like technology stocks. There's a lot of competition there, right? So take XRP. My understanding is that they have a couple of different things that they've done. They're trying to do the stablecoin, right? Well, they've got a lot of competition from Tether, Circle. Now all of a sudden, Stripe's getting in the game. Like there's a whole bunch of competition. There will probably be multiple winners, but it's heavy competition. On top of that, one of the things that is interesting to me, not so much about XRP the coin, but about Ripple the company, is they have this kind of engine to generate profit and monetize that XRP. They've started to acquire real companies. So what they did is they bought, I think one of the companies was called Hidden Road, and these are like big acquisitions. These aren't like $5 acquisitions. These are like $1 billion+ acquisitions that they're doing.
Rob, can you pull up a company's Ripple acquired?
And so what you're starting to see is, again, there's incredible controversy and debate, I think, over is XRP going to be sustainable? Is it something that people are going to use? But what they've started to do is they've started to take them. I mean, look, $200 million acquisition, $1.25 billion acquisition, $250 million acquisition, right? And so what they're doing is they're essentially using the monetization of their balance sheet, and they're starting to acquire real companies. Now, what I will say is we have seen this happen in traditional finance over time. You have a company that has very controversial or maybe unsustainable kind of business model, but they have some access to capital, and they begin to convert that into something else. And look, the Bitcoin treasury companies, a lot of them had companies that weren't working, and they said, well, why don't I just start to buy Bitcoin? And all of a sudden, they kind of revived their business. And so I think that this is very interesting. Now, there's kind of a delineation between XRP and Ripple, but I think that this acquisition stuff, people in the industry, even the people who don't like XRP, I think are saying to themselves, hey, that Hidden Road, that's a real company. Pay $1.25 billion for it, right? Yeah. Okay, you may be able to end up with an entire set of infrastructure there that you can then go and actually build a business with.
What does Hidden Road do?
Hidden Road, if I remember correctly, they do a lot of it's like market infrastructure, right? So like again, it goes back to this idea of where value accrues in the crypto industry is really kind of two, and really in finance in general. There's two buckets. You have the retail facing platforms, and then you have institutional facing like infrastructure. And so the retail platforms, that's your Coinbases, Binances, Geminis, Tethers, all those guys. But then you've got this like institutional infrastructure, everything from market making to, here you go. So like a global credit network for institutions, prime brokerage, clearing, financing, right? All this stuff that is very institutional in nature.
Is it like a Pershing? Is that what would it be considered? Is Hidden Road company Ripple acquire like a Pershing company? What is a Hidden Road? Yes, it is. Okay, sounds good. So I got it. I understand it. Okay, I mean, that's a big deal to buy something like that at 1.25 billion. And the guy that's running it, I think his name is Brad. I can't say his last name. Yeah. He seems like a very intellectual guy. He's involved on I've seen him with the Trump administration, a couple different things with them. But he doesn't just sound like one of these guys that came and created a coin, hey, let's sell a bunch of stuff and then let's go. They're actually creating technology and buying technology. Good for them. So you're optimistic because you hear some people talk about Ripple could replace Swift. Possibility of that, of course, the likelihood of that happening is less than 5%.
I wouldn't go that far. In terms of, I think I know Brad. I think Brad is a nice guy. I think that the strategy that they're pursuing at Ripple is, if you were in their situation, I think it's very smart to go and acquire these businesses. I've always just said that my focus is on Bitcoin because I think of that there's two problems in the world that I care about, and they're very interrelated. The first is I believe that the single biggest issue, if you can correct this one issue, it will have a profound impact on people's lives around the globe, is if you can basically stop the debasement of the currency. If you can stop that, then all of a sudden now what you do is you stop this silent theft, and now you allow people to actually keep the economic value that they've worked hard to earn. And so Bitcoin to me is the solution to that problem. There's kind of this heuristic of people have been complaining about this for decades, centuries, right? If you go back through all these societies, Bitcoin is the first technology solution to the problem. And so I think that is a very profound solution that is going to have an impact that we quite don't understand yet, frankly. right? So I think that's one big problem. The second problem that I'm very interested in is this idea of the little guy or the quote unquote retail investor being able to get a level playing field against these large institutions. And I think that those two issues are very interrelated because now what we know in this country is you can't be a saver, you need to be an investor. As these retail folks realize I have to become an investor, they need access to information, they need access to the market. So that's my focus. That's where I think I'm most passionate about. That's what I'm most intellectually stimulated by. What these guys are doing, I think, is something that is different and outside of it. And so it's just not something I spend any time on.
Yeah, and then last but not least on these topics, Doge. Where are you at with Doge? Because they just had an announcement, if I'm not mistaken, either on Monday. Was it Monday or I think Monday they had an announcement. Where are you at with Doge?
I think that Doge is entertaining. I don't own any, and I think Bitcoin is probably the signal among the noise.
Probably the signal. So you think Doge is noise, is what you're saying?
I generally think that, again, it goes back to Bitcoin is, think of it as a savings technology, right? It's kind of the safe thing that if you earn money, you spend less than you make, you store it in your account. So one of the frameworks that I have is in your traditional finance life, you have a savings account, you got a checking account, you got a brokerage account, right? In the digital world, you've got the same thing. Bitcoin is your digital savings account. When you earn it, you just store it there. It's going to protect your economic value over time. You have a checking account, which is your stable coins, and then you're going to have a brokerage account. And people are going to have all kinds of crazy stuff in there. That brokerage account is actually really, really hard to navigate, just like the stock market is, right? If you're going to go pick individual stock names, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, maybe you've got some information that or a unique view on the world. I think that is basically what all the other coins are.
I actually love that breakdown. I love how you broke it down. That's to the average person that sees that. So you can play ball in your brokerage account and see what it does, but then you have where you put your money. And by the way, some people when they think about savings, they think about 0.5%, 0.25%, or 1%, or money market, sometimes 2-3%. Bitcoin's not 0.5%. It's not the traditional saving account. So let me qualify that when he says that. It is not 0.5% rate of return type of thing. On Monday, I introduced you to the FLBs, the FLB1 shoes, Future Looks Bright shoes. And let me tell you what happened since that day. For black shoes that we had, I'll give you the report here. For black size, Rob, I think you have it as well, size 8 and 11.5 sold out. If you place the order now, it's pre-order. It'll get here second week of December. For brown, 8, 12, and 13 sold out. Navy, size 13, sold out. Everything you order on those sizes will be pre-order. I shared with you the fact that a lot of the sizes are going to sell out. A lot of them, there's only 4 or 5 or 6 remaining for the shoe sizes. So for some of you that didn't see what we talked about on Monday, for the last 25 years, I speak a lot on stage. And some of the events, whether it's my insurance company or the Vol Conference or BPW, at some events I can speak 40 hours where I'm on just standing up talking and I'm wearing dress shoes and they're uncomfortable. I wanted to find a shoe that can combine both the comfort and the technology and the authentic Italian leather, the trainers, because I love those shoes. I didn't want it to be too heavy where I'm feeling like I'm carrying weight. We went to Italy. We put a shoe together called the FLBs. And I want to show you this clip one more time. And then I'm going to show you one other clip. And then we'll give you some intel and then we'll get right into the stories. Go ahead and Rob, play this clip, please. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. So just so you know, if you're wondering, Pomp came in here, he saw all the shoes, and he kind of goes like this. He's like,
I looked under the table.
He's auditing me. He's like, let me see if this guy's a product of the product. 24 days in a row I've been wearing this, just so you know that. 24 days in a row I've been wearing this. No matter where I go, last night I was at Casa D'Angelo, I was wearing this. The most comfortable trainer shoes with the Italian leather. And again, if you haven't placed the order for yourself or your spouse, this was us at the Vol Conference. Rob, if you want to play this clip, the launch of it when we did it here was so exciting. People were coming from all over the world. That was a 10-foot shoe that we put up. But guys coming back, how comfortable it is, how light it is, feeling the super foam at the bottom of it, taking pictures of it, sitting in boardrooms with your feet up where somebody says, wait a minute, does that say future looks bright on the bottom of the shoe? Yes, let's make a deal happen, right? There's a certain sense of optimism when you're wearing these future looks bright shoes. So again, the black and brown, if you order them, we have them now. If they're sold out, pre-order because you'll get it second week of December. The white, when it comes out, it will not last because, you know, there's a certain material that we mixed it with. The white is absolutely ridiculous. This will come out second week of December with the navy blue. The navy blue and the white will come second week of December. The black and the brown are here for you to order depending on your size. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order, and you can learn more about the comparison of how these shoes compared to a Tom Ford, Rob, if you can go a little bit lower, to a Gucci, to a Berluti, to a Ferragamo, to a Xenia. Make the comparison for yourself instead of spending $950, $1198, $95, $840. It's built in the same exact factories as Gucci, Louis Vuitton, same ones, $599. I just put them on this morning. It took me half a second to put them on, and driver came, picked me up, got in the car, came over here. So if you haven't placed the order yet for yourself or somebody else, place the order, go to vtmerch.com. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.